Player ratings is here. We are extremely late, so I want to apologize for that. My personal life is getting in the way of the channel in some ways, so I do apologize. I'm trying my best to fit it all in. I am trying my best. So listen, I know you would have liked to have seen this player rating show yesterday, and I would have liked to have done it yesterday, but for personal reasons, I've had to keep pushing it back. And I thought, listen, I'd rather still do it just to say I've done it, and then we can go from there, you know. So that's where I'm at. So I do apologize again, guys. I will try not to let that happen again. But when you try and squeeze so many things, sometimes it does get a little bit complicated. But I hope you're all doing very well on X and on YouTube as well. Listen, we may be slightly overdue, but there's still no harm in talking about what we saw against Aston Villa, and we can preview the Southampton game as well a little bit, although I will be doing another stream later on, so don't worry. Just because I'm compensating for the player ratings does not mean we're not going to have a preview for this game. Everything is still going to be going ahead as normal. So listen, let's get into it without further ado. Let's talk about the Aston Villa game. We've had lots and lots of things come up since I was last live with all of you, which is good. It just gives us a little bit more to think about. But yeah, I mean, first of all, let's just congratulate Cole Palmer, who is still cold. You saw it in the thumbnail, and what great timing, because Cole Palmer has landed the FSA award. He has been named the 2024 Men's Player of the Year at the Football Supporters Association Award. So if you don't know what FSA stands for, it stands for the Football Supporters Association. With more than 250,000 votes cast, the FSA Awards are the largest supporter-led awards in the country. Palmer topped the fans' vote for the men's prize by a clear distance, becoming the first Chelsea player to land the award in the process. He beat off competition from Manchester City duo Erling Haaland and Rodri, as well as Bukayo Saka, Ollie Watkins, and three-time winner Mohamed Salah. Palmer said after, thanks to everyone who voted for me. It's an honor to be the first Chelsea player to win this award. How crazy is it that no Chelsea player in the past has ever won that award? That is quite something, isn't it? You would have thought that we would have had at least one other. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank is the only Chelsea player to reach 30 Premier League goals for us quicker than Cole Palmer has managed, and he collected the award on our attackers' behalf. Listen, we have an absolute gem at this football club. There's no doubt about it. We are working with one of the elite players, not just in Premier League football, but in world football. And there is no debate. I think that any team in world football would be absolutely privileged to have a player like Cole Palmer in their team. Even if you look at comparisons like Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, and other players that get thrown around, I think that if Palmer was at Arsenal, he'd play ahead of Saka. I think if he was at Man City, he'd play ahead of Phil Foden, because what he is able to bring to the team from an attacking perspective is just better than both of them. He's naturally better on the ball. He's more talented. His movement is exceptional. He's more creative. He's a great penalty taker. He's a great free kick taker. He doesn't get stupid yellow cards. It's just what you want in a football team. And we're working with an absolute superstar at this club. So I'm absolutely honored to have a player like Cole Palmer within our ranks. And I think that, listen, if you don't appreciate it now, I don't know when you'll ever appreciate it, because we are working with an absolute sensation of a player. We've also had an update on Wesley Fofana from Enzo Maresca. Obviously, he's not going to be out for a little while, but it seems like Fofana is going to be out for a fair amount of time. Obviously, Fofana's come out and said that it's not a big deal, and people have said, I'm supposed to believe that. Just like when Reece James says, I'm going to come back stronger, and he plays for 5 games and gets injured again. No disrespect, but you can't take anyone's word for anything anymore. When the club come out and say that they believe Robert Sanchez is going to be one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League, and he has potential, even though he's closer to 30 than he is to 20, I think that's when you have to really question some of the statements that come out. And that's not me being negative. That's just the reality, right? I mean, I don't have a problem with Fofana. People watched the review yesterday. If you haven't watched the day after, that was the podcast that we do after each game. So I do that with Nina. I do that with Charlie. Lewis comes on as well. Although for this one, it was just Nina and Charlie. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't checked it out, I'll briefly share my screen. It's over here, guys. So check it out. Considering as well, we had a lot of technical issues with this podcast, so it's actually done okay. It came out around midnight. We uploaded it, and then what ended up happening was my microphone worked fine, but nobody else's mic worked. So we had to delete the video and then re-upload it. So if anyone was wondering, that is the reason why. So check it out. But I do want to just say I don't have a problem with Fofana. I actually quite like Fofana as a player. I don't like him as a person. I don't think he's loyal. I don't think he cares about Chelsea. I think if he has an opportunity to go to a bigger club, he will go. Just like he did to Leicester. He even said he was considering going to Marseille. So my opinion hasn't changed in that sense. But when I talk about the injuries, I'm not surprised he's injured. I knew he was going to get injured. And everyone says, oh, it's not a big injury. Well, it's never a big injury until there's another injury and another injury and another one. And then people start asking questions. It's only now that Reece James has had, 10 or 11 injuries over the space of 3.5 years or whatever it is, that people are actually asking the question, keep or sell. So maybe it's going to take that long with Fofana as well. You know, the argument I had with Charlie was, he said, well, it's not a muscular problem, so everything must be fine. Well, I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I don't think that Fofana was a good signing. I think he's absolutely overhyped. I think he's overrated. Yeah, I think we need a better centre-back. Fofana's a good squad player for Chelsea. I don't disagree with that, especially if you're going to offload Sassy. And there's been talks about offloading Tosin. That's what people have spoken to me about, at least, because at least you can make money on him, as we did sign him on a free. But yeah, that's where I stand. That's where I stand on it. And listen, I hope Fofana gets better. I really do. But it doesn't surprise me. I said from the beginning, I didn't really want him to be, I didn't want us to build this team around Fofana. And we are building the team around Fofana because he's starting every week. But that will cost us when he gets injured, and you have to have other players filling in. So just not a fan of him, to be honest with you. It's not hate. It's just the reality. I've been very consistent on this. I wanted Tosin to come in and start. And I've realized that I was wrong in terms of saying Tosin's a better player than Fofana. Like, I appreciate that. I understand that. And it's okay to be wrong. I've got no issue being wrong. I'd like to be wrong if it means that Chelsea are moving in the right direction. And I thought we wouldn't. Just like everyone thought Maresca would be a flop. And now, we're looking at a really good manager. So I'm happy about that. But injuries are something that you can look at and say the numbers don't lie. Fofana has spent more time injured than he has when playing for Chelsea. And that's not a great statistic. So that's the only thing. I mean, injuries are going to kill us this season if they happen. If they don't, we're going to be absolutely fantastic. If we can keep a fully fit squad, then we are going to be an absolutely unstoppable force during the next couple of months. The question is, can we keep a fully fit squad? And Fofana is the first example where we had Reece James just before him. Who's next? Is it Lavia? Is it Neto? We have a number of injury-prone players. So we've got to be careful. We do have to be careful. Hugh says, I think you will eat your words about Fofana, Alex. I see himself and Lavia as elegant Rolls-Royce players. Well, I like Lavia. Yeah, so I don't have a problem with Lavia. Lavia is injury-prone, just like Fofana. But I actually don't have a problem with him. I've said in the past, I think that when he was playing in pivot, he was better than Enzo Fernandez. And to be honest, I actually stand by that, because Fernandez hasn't really been playing as much in that deeper role. He's been playing a little bit further up the pitch. and getting into the box as well. But I don't think I'll eat my words. I really don't. I mean, I hope I do. I hope Fofana comes back and is strong. Shut me up. I'm here for it. But I just don't. I don't see. You know, these aren't really questions that can be answered in the case of 6 months. It's not even a question that you could answer over the course of a season. You will see over a number of years how these things turn out. And if we're going to go based on history, and history tends to repeat itself, it doesn't always, but if you look at the track records of injuries and stuff like that, it tends to repeat itself. You can't tell me that Fofana won't get injured and have another long-term injury and be out for another full season or half a season, at least a couple more times before he sees out his contract at Chelsea, if he does see his contract out. And that's just my opinion on it. So I would love to see another centre-back, and I would love to see Levi Colwill play next to someone different. It won't happen this season, but maybe next season. I don't have an issue with Fofana starting every week if he does start, but I don't believe that his body is able to withstand the demands of playing in the Premier League every week, on top of all the other competitions as well. That's just my stance on it. I mean, Colwell's a player that I'd love to keep at Chelsea. I think that Fofana's a very good defender, but I don't know. It's just not for me, guys. I don't have to. What? Yeah, that's just not. He's just not for me. That's my opinion on him. But yeah, I mean, let's look at the game. Let's dive into it. Statistically, look, stats aren't everything, but they are something, aren't they? So always good to look at the stats just to have an idea of what it is that we did during the game, and whether we're just saying things or are we actually seeing the full picture here. We dominated possession quite heavily, 64% to 36. 8 shots on target to their 4. 6 off target to their 3. They had 2 big chances. We didn't have any, which is great in terms of Robert Sanchez. And I'm trying to think what the other clear-cut chance was. I mean, Ollie Watkins had one. Who had the other clear-cut chance in that game? Maybe they were both Ollie Watkins, actually. I think Ollie Watkins might have had 2. And 3 blocks each. We almost doubled Aston Villa in terms of total passes and total passes completed. Our passing accuracy was higher than theirs. We made more tackles. They won more duels, but that makes sense because they were sitting back a little bit more. So that's understandable. They had more corners, 3 offsides, although we committed a lot more fouls than Aston Villa did. Within the match, you can see Palmer had the most shots. Jadon Sancho with 100% pass rate, which is good considering he wasn't actually negative in that game. I thought he was still quite positive. Cucurella very involved, with Caicedo having 2 interceptions. Fernandez with 4 fouls. And again, Caicedo, the underrated creator in this team. People think that he's just a machine chopping up the play, but actually he's a very creative player as well. Doesn't get enough credit for it. He will at some point, just not at this moment in time. But I think at the end of the season, I would be, I mean, I don't know how many assists Caicedo's on at the moment, but I think that Caicedo can get anywhere between 5 and 10 assists this season. I think that would be fair, especially when you look at the runs that he's had in front of him that Jackson's making, and he's got Palmer in front of him as well. I'd like to see Caicedo pushing a few more assists, although obviously you have to rely on the other players to finish the chances, don't you? So, I mean, if we're looking player for player, let's start from the beginning. Let's look at none other than Robert Sanchez, and I think this is a player I've been heavily critical of, but I thought Robert Sanchez had a really good game. I was happy with what Robert Sanchez did during the game, and I think that he deserves credit for this game. And I've got no issue doing that. What Robert Sanchez did is he did he make us feel comfortable? More than usual. That's probably the best way I'd say. There's not many other games that I could look at and feel as comfortable with Robert Sanchez in goal as I did for this game. And if you look on SofaScore as well, I mean, this is a great example, right? You can see sort of the game by game stats and ratings. Newcastle United, Arsenal, Spain. Oh, that's when he was playing for Spain. Leicester. And Aston Villa is the only game that he's had in green by quite a distance. The highest rating he had before that was 6.8. So yeah, I think that Robert Sanchez definitely deserves some praise for this match. Look, he wasn't a world beater, but he was just solid, right? And these are the games that if you do have a top goalkeeper, you just expect these games, right? Like we've spoken about Caicedo, and we will speak about Caicedo. We see these great performances from him, and it doesn't really surprise us anymore. And I'm in that boat where I think he's just a great player. I mean, how many other central midfielders in that role can invert as a right back? How many of them can do that? Now, there's different midfielders that can do different things. We've seen John Stones play in the midfield and play as a centre back. We've seen Declan Rice do the opposite, a midfield centre back as well. Not sure I can remember a midfielder though, like Caicedo, able to invert. And actually, if I'm honest, I would prefer that than seeing Cucurella invert. That's the God honest truth. Because then you've got Cucurella as well, who has been much more of an attacking threat than I've ever seen him. I think that's probably one of Cucurella's biggest improvements in recent times. But I do think that Robert Sanchez's rating totally justified, and I think he deserves it as well. So I've got to give credit to Robert Sanchez. Big up to him. I probably agree with that rating, 7.5. Not superb, but he was solid, wasn't he? And Cucurella as well. We just touched on Cucurella. I think that this man is a player who has every ingredient to be the best in the world. Every single ingredient. He's not too old. He's certainly not too young. He's really at the peak of his career, isn't he, at this point? Still in his 20s. He's got a number of years left at Chelsea. In that position as well, being able to play the way that he plays, he brings an infectious energy into this team, but also a stability. It's not rash. It's not like when Cucurella's on the field, you feel like you can't trust him. Oh my God, what's he going to do next? He's pushing the line. If the line's there, Cucurella is right next to it. He's just seeing what's happening, but he doesn't cross the line. And that is exactly the type of player you want, and the type of player you never want to have against you. A bit like Diego Costa, or I don't know, fucking hell. Just he's a proper shithouse, isn't he? Cucurella. There's not really an eloquent way to say that. Is top notch. He's absolutely top notch. And I do think that the next aspect of his game, in terms of getting up the pitch, I don't expect him to score goals. He's got Marcus Alonso, but getting up the pitch and whipping balls in, that was probably the final piece, because we've seen him as a solid left back. We've seen him invert very well. Defensively, he's always been good for us. I mean, that's always been his biggest strength, especially in recent times. But up the top end of the pitch, that's where, you would never look at Cucurella in the same light as Reece James on the right or Gusto on the right. And now this is a conversation that we can start to have. And that's a credit to him and Maresca as well, because there's obviously a reason he's getting up the pitch and creating these chances, just like there's a reason Enzo Fernandez is getting in the box more. And I don't think there's any coincidence that you got a manager telling the players, if you do this, you're more likely to increase your output. And obviously, he's not saying this is your option. This is what you need to do. And this is what I want from my team. So yeah, massive shout out to Enzo Maresca as well, because he is giving Cucurella the platform to go out and produce his performances and mix it up as well. It's not the same every week. One week he's doing one thing and the next week he's doing another, but it's all good, isn't it? I can't look at any of those performances and think he was doing a bad job. Levi Colwill, I mean, I'd love to know what do we think about Levi Colwill in the chat. For me, this is Chelsea's best centre-back at the moment. He hasn't had an amazing month or so for Chelsea, but I think it was another good performance from Levi Colwill. Yeah, his distribution is something that I'm really keen on. He loves to pass forward. He's a leader. One of the talkers in the team, and I don't think we have enough of them at times, especially when you look at Reece James. He got called out by Enzo Maresca, responded well, to be fair. But, you know, I like to have players in the team that are loud, that want to have their voices heard. I mean, when you're playing in front of 40,000 people at Stamford Bridge, you've got to make some noise, people. You've got to make some noise. And he makes his voice heard. He's not afraid to confront the opponents, get himself around. I love the fact that he gets stuck in as well. And for me, Levi Colwill, he's a real asset to this team. But I'm trying to think of any specific moments in this match. Sorry about the noise, guys. I've got construction downstairs and I got a road by my window, so it's a little bit louder than usual. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy with what I saw from Colwill. The only thing that I was surprised about was the fact that Tosin came on for Tosin didn't come on for Badiashile when Fofana got injured. I was slightly surprised by that, but we'll move on to that in a second. But yeah, big up to Levi Colwill. I don't really feel like I have a lot to say about him a lot of the time, because he doesn't strike me as a player who has massive ups and downs. He's generally quite consistent. He has moments, but I never look at Colwill and think, well, very rarely do I look at Colwill and think, oh, you had a terrible game or you had an amazing game. I don't really think of him in that light. I just look at him and I see a very stable player. And there was, some news that came out today, wasn't it, about can Chelsea hold on to Levi Colwill amid interest from other clubs? The answer is obviously yes, because we've signed him down to a long-term contract. But I mean, he is on 100 grand a year, and that was the argument. Is he worth more than 100 grand? 100 grand a week. So I leave that one to you in the chat. I might even pull up the article, to be fair, because I am subscribed to The Athletic. Where the fuck is it? I had a notification about it today. Chelsea. Maybe I'm just seeing things. I swear to God, I had a notification about that. Anyway, let's move on from that. Let's talk about Wesley Fofana. I've already touched on him a little bit, but I'm happy to dive in a little bit further. Just to reiterate, I like Wesley Fofana. I don't have a problem with him. But I do have a problem with the fact that he's constantly injured and we're building the team around him. People think that I blame Fofana for this. I'm not blaming Fofana. I blame the people that signed Fofana. I blame them. I blame the recruitment. But yeah, we're going to struggle to have consistency and stability in the squad with this player. I really believe that. If this injury that he has is as minimal as people say it is, and he's only out for a month, so let's just say he comes back beginning of January, ready for the FA Cup game or Crystal Palace, whatever it is, then okay. But I just don't believe that. I really think that he'll get injured again. And if he does, then we really have to have a serious conversation about Fofana, just like we're having about Reece James at the moment, because you've got some people saying get rid of him, some people saying keep him, and people saying Reece James, we want you to stay, but you need to take a pay cut or go on an incentive-based contract based on how many games you play during the season. So that could be an option as well. I'm not against that, but I don't think that the player would accept that, to be honest with you. But yeah, he got injured. I hope he's okay. I really do. But we will have to see what happens in the coming weeks. Then we move on to possibly one of my highlights of the match. Well, it's got to be the highlight for me, really, or one of them. We've got so many good things going on at Chelsea, which is nice. It's very refreshing, isn't it? Moises Caicedo, what a game he had! What a fantastic game. I saw the lineup. I saw it on BBC Sport, and I was trying to understand it. I was thinking, hang on a second. So you've got Cucurella, you've got Colwill, you've got Fofana. Who is playing on the right? I was trying to figure it out. We've got three midfielders here: Fernandez, Lavia, Caicedo. I'm thinking, well, the only option that would make any sense is Caicedo. But this is where maybe I wasn't thinking. Is I didn't think about the inverting. I thought you're probably going to see Cucurella invert, aren't you? But Caicedo inverting. Oh, it was just genius. It was great. It was fucking sensational. Excuse my language, guys. Absolutely brilliant. I am such a huge fan of Caicedo. I've always loved him. To be honest with you, even when he hasn't been that good, I didn't think he was that bad. I don't think he's ever had a really, really, really poor run of form. Like, I think he's certainly struggled at times, but I mean, if the bar's here for normal players, when you're spending 100 million on a player, the bar's here, right? So him and Fernandez rightly get criticised because of their price tags. But I do think Caicedo's been a lot more consistent than Fernandez for Chelsea, and he's hit that height of undroppable. He's hit that mark where you look at a player and you say, I can't have this team play without this player. Just like you can't not start Cole Palmer. You can't not start Moises Caicedo. So then the options in the midfield is you drop Fernandez, you drop Lavia, or if you want to fit them all in, you just invert Caicedo, which works really, really well, because we've seen Gusto inverting at times, and you say to yourself, the guy's in the midfield more than he's in his natural position. But Caicedo's natural position is in the midfield, and he's able to still defend very well. He's got experience within that role at Brighton. He did the same thing. And it's just brilliant, isn't it? It's fantastic. So, no complaints from me. I really do believe Moises Caicedo is a player for the future and the present. And if he can go even higher in terms of form and play even better, we're looking at the best midfielder in world football. Because that defensive side of the game, mixed with the creativity that he has and the distribution, which is sensational. He's got a pair of legs as well. Don't forget, he can run and he's versatile. These are all huge selling points. These are things that make it seem like we actually spent less money than he's worth at the moment. What do you pay for the best midfielder in world football? What do you pay? I mean, if he keeps going the way he's going, then I think you're looking at a player who's worth over what we paid for him. If James was on an incentive-based contract, he'd end up homeless. Goodness gracious, Hugh, that's savage. Proud Chelsean says we're going to win the league. Lloyd says Maresca seems to rate Badiashile as a first option from defenders. It'll be two left-footers. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we've seen right-footed players play on the other side, so it can be done. Big up to Daniel. Big up to Young D. Prezimo 38. Hi, people. Chelsea King. Hands yellow. Heart red. Okay. Nice one. So let's move on to some other positions, right? So we've done our defense, but I guess that kind of works into our midfield. And I want to go on to speak about another player, Enzo Fernandez. And I thought he had a great game, didn't he? He was brilliant. He was absolutely fantastic. And who else to watch when we speak about Enzo Fernandez? I almost feel like every time he has a good performance, we have to come back to Matt, don't we? Because Matt he loves Enzo Fernandez. He absolutely loves Enzo Fernandez. So let's see what Matt had to say about.
So Matt, listen, we're outside Stamford Bridge. Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. We've got the Kenzo tea today.
That's all you need to fucking see. The man's back, baby. The man is back.
Oh, I thought it was Palmer.
No, it was a hell of a goal from Palmer, but yeah,
No, I have to admit, it was eye-opening after the Leicester game when I saw what Maresca had to say. He said, I've been trying to persuade Enzo, like I did with players at Leicester last season, get in the box and you will score goals, and it's happened again.
And hell of a finish.
Brilliant finish.
Brilliant finish, mate. The whole entire... do you know what? Right, there's two type of games you enjoy, yeah? The ones that stress you out like fuck all game, and you bag something at the end, and you're like, thank fuck we got something there. And then you've got the other type of game, where you're just so comfortable throughout the whole entire 90 minutes. You can kick back, you can relax, you can speak to your neighbour next to you, you can have a chat with him, you can put your arm around the fella. No diddy. You can put, like, do you know what I mean? You can put an arm around the fella, do you know what I mean?
But then you completely diddy me, to be fair, because for all these free tickets, he was asking for some horrific stuff. No, honestly, honestly, the things I had to do to get free tickets off this man, it's really concerning. I don't want to say it on. Is there a camera there? I don't want to say it on camera. No.
What have you made Joey do?
You'll see it on an cfctvyt channel in a few months. I'm joking. Mate. Generally, that performance today was absolutely flawless, mate. I couldn't tell you how happy I was to see that. Like, mate, like, do you know what? In the moment, yeah. Do you know how Arsenal are above us? Do you know how?
How?
They're Arsenal above us by fucking alphabet. We've got the same amount of goals conceded, we've got the same amount of goals scored, and we've got the same amount of points. We've got the same draws, we've got the same win, we've got everything exactly the same. Arsenal are second by alphabet.
I didn't
Alphabet FC. Come on, G.
I did actually see a tweet about that, and it's not alphabet. It's yellow cards. So they are above us because we have more yellow cards than them. So it's quite funny though, isn't it? If we had the same yellow cards though, would Arsenal still be in front of us because of the alphabet? Maybe so. But I think it's yellow card, and then maybe it would go to red cards, which Arsenal, I'm sure, have more red cards than we do. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I mean, the point is, Matt was very happy, wasn't he? Very happy. He loves Enzo Fernandez, and big up to him. Listen, you put your heart and soul behind a player. You want that player to perform. And Enzo Fernandez is starting to perform slowly but surely. He is coming into his own. I got called out on Twitter as well. I don't know if, some of you might have seen it on Twitter, which was quite funny, because obviously I criticized Enzo Fernandez. And I said Lavia is a better player, which, to be honest with you, this season isn't entirely wrong. I actually would argue that Lavia has been better for us and more consistent when he's played. But look, that doesn't take away from the fact that, yeah, let's show you the clip, and then you can make up your own mind. But I just want to say I'm absolutely chuffed with Enzo Fernandez, and I don't mind people digging me out either. I don't mind it. I think it's I'm a good sport. So let's see if I was wrong. Was I wrong, guys? Let's find out. So the tweet is here. It says 7 GA in 4 games. This is reacting to what I had to say. So let me play the video.
Enzo Fernandez is not good enough to start for Chelsea in the Premier League. He is not as good as Romeo Lavia. He will never start ahead of Caicedo.
That's true. Enzo Fernandez will never start ahead of Caicedo. That is very true. All right. That is true.
Maresca has been playing the guy out of position.
That was also true. He was playing Fernandez out of position. So I'll stand by that.
He's been playing him as an 8. When Maresca plays Enzo Fernandez as a number 8, he restricts his best and finest qualities of being able to dictate the game. The way this squad is gelling, Enzo Fernandez is becoming less and less relevant to Maresca's tactics and what Maresca wants to do with this team. Enzo Fernandez, at this moment in time, is going to be playing Thursday nights.
Well, I'd love to know what you guys actually have to say about that. But I mean, I don't think I was entirely wrong. Bear in mind, this video was made. When was this video made? Let's have a look. When was my video made? When was this made? This was made. Okay, over a month ago, I made that video. So I made that video. That video came out October 22nd. We're in December. I don't exactly think I was wrong. At that moment in time, guess what happened? Enzo Fernandez did start playing Thursday nights, and then he bounced back. So I will give him that. AFC says, "You've had a howler." I don't. You know what? I don't even think it's that bad. And if we are gonna get technical, I don't mind getting technical either. 3 of those assists were against Noah. I mean, how many goals is it? How many? 7 G8. So you got a goal against Leicester, a goal against the last game, 3 assists against Noah. What was the other one? Did you get anything against Panathinaikos? I'm not sure. Hey, listen, I'm happy to hang my hands up and say I might have been a little bit premature when criticizing Fernandez, but I don't think that I regret what I've said, because I do think I was right at the time. I was. And things have changed since then. I mean, it's interesting now, isn't it? We're playing Fernandez further up the pitch, but we're giving him a lot more support than we did originally. He used to be up there on his own, and then you'd have Caicedo on his own, and it felt quite disconnected. Now you've got a little bit of extra support. When you look at the Leicester game, he was supported by... oh, God, who played in the Leicester game? Fuck. I've got the worst memory in the world. He had a lot of support in the midfield. He was also playing on the right-hand side, something a little bit different. I don't think he was an 8 in that game, though. He was more of a 6. But he is making those runs into the box now. And I like that. I really do. I think it's brilliant. I never thought that Fernandez was a player who could do that. But that's great coaching. That's fantastic coaching. And he's adapting. So big up to Enzo Maresca. And big up to Enzo Fernandez as well. The 2 Enzos. I hope this form continues. I hope we can look back on many more fan cams from Matt saying how good Enzo Fernandez is, even though at times it's not entirely true. But it's still nice to see a wave of positivity throughout the Chelsea community for one of our most expensive players and, our manager as well. Romeo Lavia, what do we make about Lavia's performance against Aston Villa? What do we make of what he did? I mean, I personally thought he was pretty okay. Not much more than that. I thought he was all right. Quite a 6, 7 out of 10 performance. I wouldn't have said he was bad. I wouldn't have said he was really good. He was okay. Yeah, I mean, does anyone disagree with that? I don't remember any amazing passes, anything in particular. He had a chance to score off of that indirect free kick where I think Palmer took the first shot. He got the rebound. That went straight into the wall. Yeah, I don't think that there's really an awful lot to say about Lavia. I'd like to see that trio, though. I would like to see that trio. I mean, I spoke with Charlie and Nina yesterday, and they said to me, they said, we don't want to see... what was it Charlie said? He said, I don't want to see Caicedo inverting every single week. And I went, why not? I think it's brilliant. If that is one of your options, I'm not saying do it every week, but if you can do that, every now and again, a couple of times a month or something like that, if you've got 10 games and you play 3 of them with Caicedo inverting, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Hugh says, I heard the league position was because they scored at the Bridge. We haven't played them at Anfield yet. Oh, you mean, you talk about Arsenal? You mean the Emirates? Yeah. No, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, to be fair. Guys, if anyone finds out anything about that, maybe I'll look it up. I'll look it up on the stream in a second, actually. It's quite interesting, isn't it, figuring that out? I thought that Neto was always going to start in this game. No surprise to me that he did. A positive player. A player who always has some sort, a bit like Cucurella, he brings an energy, an infectious energy, totally different to what you see from Madueke, what you see from Mudryk, from Sancho as well. I think that what Neto has is almost a little bit of each of those players blended into one. He's got the work rate defensively, probably a better work rate, actually. Well, much better work rate than Madueke. He's got the best defensive work rate out of all of our wingers. So hungry. Every time he doesn't have the ball, is tracking back. I remember there was a moment within that game. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Bailey or someone. And I see Neto sprinting back to get that ball. I thought, God, that is what we've been missing, people. Why can't we see every single player do this all the time? I'll tell you why. Because sometimes, well, first of all, you need a cohesion within the team. You want to fight for your teammates, but you just want that sense of pride from a player as well to say, I'm going to do this. This is my player. I'm going to win that ball back myself. Neto has absolute pride in what he does. I see a player there who every single week, even if he doesn't play his best, he puts in an absolute shift. He gives 110%. I was told that by Dazzling Dave. If you don't know Dazzling Dave, he runs Always Wolves, which is, I think, the biggest Wolves fan channel. Dave said nothing but good things about Pedro Neto when he signed for us. And listen, I have to say, Dave, honestly, mate, thank you, Wolves. Thank you, Wolves. But again, another player we need to be careful on. Injury prone again. So I just hope we can keep him fit. If we lose players, key players in this period, it could really be tough for us, because one player, we've seen it with Man City, and I'm certainly not saying that we're going to have anything like what City have had, but if we have players like Neto getting injured or Lavia, I just think that I don't think we should get carried away at this point. I still have people asking me about the title race. I'm with Maresca here. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I think that we are absolutely on track for top 4. I think that we are potentially on track for 3rd place. I don't know if we could hold on to 2nd. I think that's going to be difficult. But we should get Champions League football, which is already better than I ever imagined we'd get. I predicted 5th. So you could have still got Champions League football with 5th place. But we look so solid, so stable, which makes me very, very happy. But yeah, Neto's great, isn't he? He's great. He's got the football IQ. I thought he had I think he had a good game, but again, maybe a little bit like Lavia. Nothing special. He was all right. He was good. He was okay. 6, 7 out of 10. He can certainly do better. But no, I thought Neto was okay. But his defensive work rate for me is always a 10 out of 10. I love his defensive work rate. And people defend Madueke for that. Well, can we not say the same thing for Pedro Neto? Another player who played on Thursday. We didn't think that we were going to see him play on Sunday. We didn't think it was going to happen. But Jadon Sancho, He has the full trust of Enzo Maresca. He was arguably man of the match against Heidenheim, although I gave it to Jorgensen. I thought Jorgensen had an amazing game. But yeah, Sancho, I thought Sancho had a really good game. I thought he had a good game. You see his pass completion as well, 100%. And I think he was still pretty positive. I think that Sancho had a better game than Neto. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. I think his link up, I think he matches up really well with Enzo Fernandez. I think that having Fernandez, I would have personally liked to have seen Fernandez play on the right again, like we saw against Leicester, because he can whip in a different type of ball, a bit like what you see Reece James do at times, or De Bruyne or at Man City, when you've got that midfielder a little bit deeper and you can just sort of dink it into the box. But we just have so much technical ability on that side, and when you've got Sancho linking up, you've got Jackson making runs, you've got Palmer there to support, Fernandez there to support. Yeah, this is a player. I almost think that Sancho is one of those players, a bit like the cherry on top at times. I think if you put Sancho in a really poor team, like a Man United, for example, I don't think you see the best of him. He's a player who plays well when he's around good players, or in a system that suits him, a possession-based system, ideally. I don't think you could put Sancho in a counter-attacking team and see the best out of him. But what he does is he breaks down the opponents. He makes those risky passes, and it looks effortless at times, but he looks positive. Even if he's not as fast as other players or as energetic, he makes up for it with his technical ability. His football IQ is superb as well. And he's just able to control the tempo on that left-hand side. So look, he wasn't unbelievable. I'm not sitting here saying he was a world beater, but he was good. He was good. And yeah, I liked what I saw from Sancho. I thought he was good. But although the defensive aspect is probably the one area you say, right, maybe you need to see a little bit more from him at times. Who was up front? Nicholas Jackson. My good friend Steve, he likes to say Wacko Jacko. Love a bit of Jacko. Unbelievable. I made a prediction the other day. I think Jackson's going to get more than 25 goals this season. If he continues receiving the service, he will score 25 goals or more. I already said at the beginning of the season he was going to score over 20. But this game and that finish, that left-footed finish, that just opens up a new door that I didn't even know was open. Jackson, the fact that he's able to do so many things that he could never do last season, he's able to score with his left foot, he's able to hold up the play, get past players, and then finish as well. He makes runs and then has end product on top of that. This guy is capable of getting 25 goals. He is capable of getting 25 goals, and Lewis and many others have said it already now. Probably the second best striker in the league. And what an absolute bargain. We barely paid any money for this man. And we are working with a sensational talent. And it's no surprise that Nkunku can't get in the team, because you've got Jackson there, and everything that Nkunku isn't good at, Jackson is. And the things that you would say maybe Nkunku's a little bit better at, I think he's got a better header of the ball. He's better in tight spaces. Probably got a better shot on him. But everything else, you've got to give it to Jackson. His movement, his link-up play, his versatility in different parts of the pitch, his pressing. You're absolutely right, Hugh. It's relentless. Maresca said after the game, Jackson pressed two players. It wasn't, usually you say, right, if the player goes, if this player gets the ball, I want you to press him. And if you're Palmer, it might be one centre back. And if you're Cucurella, it might be this winger or whatever it is. I don't know. But Jackson was in charge of pressing the goalkeeper and one of the centre backs, and he did a great job of it. He has this energy, and I've said this with a couple of players now. It's no coincidence. You look in the defence. Cucurella, Caicedo, inverting, energy. Neto on the wing. Jackson up front. It's contagious, guys. It's contagious. It spreads throughout the team. These are players that you've got to appreciate how good they are and understand that players like this do not come around very often. Nicholas Jackson was asked when I think he was taking a picture with a fan or something like that. And they said, "Oh, you're the new Drogba." He said, "Please don't call me the new Drogba. I'm the new Nicholas Jackson. I'm my own guy." This is a player who wants to take advantage of Chelsea. Not in a bad way. Bring us to the next level. That's what I meant. He's got the number 15. He's going to score more than 15 goals. 25 goals is my prediction if we can keep this guy fit. 25 goals. We've got 38 games in the Premier League season. He starts every single game. You don't think he can get 25? I think he can get there. I really do. Definitely over 30 GA. Without question. Same for Palmer as well. I don't think Palmer will score as many goals as he did last season, but I think he'll get a hell of a lot more assists. I think we could see Palmer get close to 20 assists. And I'll speak about Palmer now. I mean, Cole Palmer, that wasn't even his best game. I'm not even joking. That wasn't even his best. Palmer, by his standards within this match, it was not his best game. I really don't believe it was. I don't believe it was. I was sat next to people in the stadium, and I did ask them. I said, is it just me, or does Palmer look a little bit? I don't know. He just looks a bit off. Like, not that he was bad, but like it's like if you saw Messi. You know, he's still good, but like Messi can do better. That's how I feel about Palmer. That's how I felt. I was like, this guy is world class. But he doesn't look world class today. He looks okay, but I've seen Palmer. I don't know what it is. Just if his passing looked a little bit slower than usual. He wasn't missing many passes, but something about him. But he still managed to pull out an assist and a goal. What a goal! In fact, let's watch the goal. Let's watch the goal. I love watching goals, people. How can you not appreciate a player like Cole Palmer scoring a goal like that? Unbelievable. Absolutely world-class talent, people. World-class talent. Right. I'm going to share my screen with you now.
That's fucking massive. Wow. I'm cold. I'm cold. Hey. I'm cold. I'm cold.
Unbelievable. What a player, what a talent. That's Cole Palmer there. You're right, Hugh. 2-3 seasons ago, we were hoping to get to the 40-point mark to avoid a relegation battle. Can you believe it? And look at us now. Happy days. Happy days. Absolutely fantastic. I've got nothing but good things to say about Palmer. I think he's just fucking world class, and he's just world class. Even when he's not at his best, there's something about this guy. I don't know how he does it. I really don't. And if you look at what he's doing this season, it's just great. It's just brilliant. I love it. I absolutely love it. Oh, he's so great. He's so good. Statistically as well. You look at his Premier League stats from this season. I'll share my screen with you. "13 men's team appearances, 13 starts, 8 goals. How many assists? Does it have the assists on there? 6 assists. "14 GA in 13 games. If that is not a top player we're looking at right now, and he had a little spell, didn't he, when he wasn't scoring? But that's okay, because he'll just make up for it and get another goal or an assist, and then probably score a hat trick in the next game. But I do think that we probably see him score less goals than assists. But if he can match the two, I think we'll be looking at probably another 40 GA, which is, again, world class. How can you dispute that? How can any Arsenal fan tell me that Saka's a better player than Cole Palmer? Or how can any Man City fan say that Foden's better? Look at Palmer in an England shirt and what he was doing during the Euros with limited minutes compared to Phil Foden. Palmer is a player who can carry a team when they're not great. Foden can't play with other players that aren't at that top level. He can't get the best out of himself. Palmer is a world beater. He's absolutely fantastic, guys. We've got over 320 of you guys. Smash the like button if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. It does make a huge difference to the channel. It just shows that you're enjoying the content, and I like making it as well. Also, if you haven't already downloaded Anomaly, please do. There's a QR code on screen. It is an app for football fans, made by a football fan, actually made by a Chelsea fan. So, yeah, there's a link in the description. There's a QR code on screen. I'm going to be doing a preview for Southampton on Anomaly. Come and join me there. I'll try and do one with Lewis as well. Big up to everyone that has taken part in this show. Really appreciate all of your time, guys. And I hope to catch you later on tonight. It will be around sort of 10-ish. Then I will be previewing the Southampton game. And I will try and do another preview tomorrow, sort of morning, afternoon, just before I leave for Southampton, to see if there's anything else that needs to be addressed going into that match. All the best, guys, and we will catch up very, very soon. Have a good day.